Well, what's up? What's up, Soul Warriors? Welcome to the Recovery Soul Food Podcast. Tonight, I've got really the most amazing guest ever to be on our show. In fact, we got a lot of surprises for you tonight. But tonight, the Recovery Soul Food Podcast is meeting Matty Jablonski of The Point of Change. And I'm honored that he is here with us to spend some time with us to help create some change and, transformation right here with us. He's like a little brother to me, and I'm just so proud of him and who he is and all that he's doing. And I know that all of you love him as much as I do, probably even a little bit more. I can't imagine, but it can happen. So we also got some surprise guests coming in, and you know what? This is just going to be a great Saturday night. So you guys go ahead, like the video, get it all shared out wherever you're watching us. We're live on Recovery Soul Food on Facebook, LC Currie on Facebook, and the Recovery Soul Food YouTube channel. So if you happen to be on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification so that you see every video that we post. But if you guys are ready to get into this, I'm ready. So let's meet Matty Jablonski of The Point of Change. Matty Jablonski, wow. It is so good to have you on the Recovery Soul Food Podcast. How are you tonight?
Fantastic. I'm fantastic, LC. My brother from another mother.
I know, man, there's just so much to talk to you about tonight. I've got some questions, first of all, because, you're a pretty awesome guy. And most everybody in the world at this point knows how muscular, awesome, pretty dang good looking you are. Look at the muscles. Look at the muscles, would you? I don't even know how you do it. I don't even know how you do it. And
I amaze myself. I'm be honest. I amaze myself.
Well, I was thinking of all these questions I could ask you. And one of them is, you're like this huge, you've become this huge heartthrob. Bradley Bagwell just thinks you are the bee's knees, right?
She's not in here. She's not in here, right?
No.
That girl, little crack.
Well, I'm telling you, that's what you do to people, man. That's what you do to people. So I'm wondering, how amazing this young lady, Caitlin, must be to have gotten
Caitlin,
you
Patricia Tanner.
pinned down.
Caitlin.
Like, she's something else, right?
Man. Yeah. I love her.
She is absolutely, I mean,
you know, that's something that you brought those two up together, because I'm starting to think that Bradley Bagwell might have a little bit of a crush on Caitlin.
Caitlin too.
Been talking,
man, it's just something about you and everything you touch. I mean, that you just drive people crazy. Drive people absolutely crazy. That's what you do. I mean, you even got me a little cray-cray in my head, you know?
Shucks. Come on, Liljan. Come on.
And you know, the way that you are such a visionary and you don't mind, you know, just doing things that really expose thought processes and really just bring, you know, people together is just something absolutely outstanding.
Thank you. Thank you. I've thought about maybe being a motivational speaker.
What is going on here? What is going on here right now? Yeah. Who is this? Who's this doppelganger here?
What
do you mean?
Hey, get that. Push him down.
Oh, don't you push me away.
I know who sent you. Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg sent you.
You know, for a minute you had me fooled. You even had me fooled. I really thought you were me. I was watching until until LC brought up Caitlin and you didn't use the words extraordinary, beautiful, amazing, outstanding. I knew right away that's not Matt Jablonski.
This is the real Matt Jablonski. I don't know what you're talking about. I've had these babies since I was like 2 years old. I don't know who you are. I can't even see your face. So
we can't even see his face.
We call this one the hospital. We call this one the morgue.
Maddie, where are you?
Maddie, we can't see you.
You can't see me at all right now?
No.
Oh, let me see if I can brighten it up at all.
You can see me. So I guess I'll have to do.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't think it was going to be this dark in here, but I guess the sun went down completely on me now. So.
Oh, darn.
Can you kind of see my face?
We've got your voice and your face up here.
I'll be your face and you go ahead. Go ahead.
What's up, you guys? Matt Jablonski here with the Point of Change. By the way, I love your banner, Bradley. I love it.
How did you know it was Bradley? Dang it. I can't get away with nothing. I just wanted to be really cool like you, Maddie. I just wanted to be really cool.
You are really cool like me, Bradley.
No, I don't even want to be on air anymore. Hey, I look pretty good. You should try long hair.
Good. You should. That's rocking.
It is, right?
You got quite the look going on right now, like an Aerosmith, quite, you know. Like I'm thinking, break into it. Break into it.
Okay, I gotta split for a second. I'll be back and we'll talk more with Maddie from the Point of Change.
Maddie and the Point of
Later.
Change.
I love you, Bradley.
Well, don't we love her, man? Thank you so much for coming on. Even if we can't see you, man. I mean, you know what? It's your energy lights up the room, dude. I mean, that's just serious.
I'm glad my energy is leading the way because apparently we're going to have problems with visual, but that's okay. That's all right. I'm still here.
Hey, that's live broadcast, man. You better be able to move and groove with it, right?
Definitely. Got to go with the flow. I'm pushing through a lot of things to be here tonight, so that's one more thing we're pushing through.
You are, man. And let me take a moment just to say how grateful I am that you did choose to show up here tonight, and just how much it means to me that you pushed through to come here with me on the Recovery Soul Food and this audience here, because well, I'll let you say what you want to say, but Maddie's going through a pretty hard time. We all experience loss and grief in recovery, and that was one of the things that Maddie and I want to talk about, how trials and tribulations in recovery actually, they come. We can't stop them from coming. And I'm real interested, Maddie, to actually get into your heart and soul tonight to really understand, exactly the tools that you're using right now to move through the thought processes that you are holding on to, your spiritual strength. I mean, I'm really interested in finding out all of those things. We're experiencing a loss here tonight, and we are actually dedicating this broadcast tonight. And if you guys hang around to the end, we're going to have a special outro that pays tribute to the memories of two men that have been very special to us. Matty's grandfather, Lloyd Darling, and my brother-in-law, Timmy Gregson, who just passed on Thursday. Man, nobody said recovery was going to be easy, did they, Matt?
Not at all, brother. Not at all. And today is one of those days that was really tough for me. Honestly, I've had a lot of time to think and a lot of dark thoughts in the beginning. I found out this morning that my grandpa passed away yesterday, pretty tragically, in his workshop at home. Thank God for that. But it was a freak accident in the workshop at home and an explosion, and he's dead now. And it's rough. And I mean, it was a rough way to wake up this morning to find that news. And then, and right away, my thoughts got so overwhelmed right away. I was like, I can't take on anything. My mind went straight to overwhelmed mode, and I was like, I do a live video every morning on my page at 10 a.m. And I was like, no, I'm not going to be on my page at 10 a.m. I got to drive. I got to go up. I got to go see my mom was my first thought. I got to go see my mom. And I was like, I got to get a hold of LC. I got to cancel tonight. I got, this is too much. I got to cancel everything and just focus on family. And that's what I did right away. I got a hold of you and let you know what had happened. And I'm very appreciative that you were right away. You were like, hey, no problem. You're always welcome back anytime. My heart and prayer goes out to you. And then I went live on my page at about 8:30 in the morning and told everybody that what had happened and said that I wasn't going to be live at 10 a.m. and that I was hitting the road. And then I told myself before I got in the car, I said, if there's an opportunity to pull off the road around 10 a.m., I'll still go live at 10 a.m. I'm still going to do it. And, sure enough, at 9:55, there's a sign, 5 miles to the next rest stop. And I was like, all right, God's going to present me this opportunity, so I'm going to pull off. I went to the rest stop and I made my 10 a.m. live. And and then after that happened, I was driving, and when you get alone with your thoughts, that can go one of two ways. You can either go real bad or you can have some epiphanies, and thank God it went good. It went good.
Yes.
I went back to driving, and I was thinking and pondering, and I was thinking about my grandpa, and my grandpa was never very good with technology, and he was very proud of my page. And that was one thought I had right before going live at 10 a.m. too, was if I miss my 10 a.m. video because my grandpa passed away, I'm sure on the other side of the veil, that's going to be disappointing to him. That's going to be upsetting for him to hear that I missed out on a video because he passed away. And then I thought about it more on the way up here, and I was thinking about it, and I was imagining my grandpa talking to God, and grandpa saying to God, hey, one nice thing about being up here is, down there I could never figure out technology. I couldn't watch Matthew's live videos. Can I watch them up here? And God having to tell him, yeah, you could, but he canceled it. He was going to be live tonight, but he canceled it. And grandpa saying, why'd he cancel it? Well, because you passed away and he didn't feel like he could go live. And that thought right there, I was like, no, I'm not letting that happen. Like, I'm going to go live tonight. I'm going to, I've so many times in my life, I backed down. When things got hard, I'd back down. I know what happens when things get hard and I back down. I want to see what happens when things get hard and I go hard,
Yes.
So I pushed forward. I was like, I'm going to ride with it. And that's when and then after I had that thought, I could not wait to get up here so I could get a hold of you. I was like, oh, I can't wait to stop driving for just a minute so I can message LC, and hopefully he hasn't canceled everything yet and we can keep going with this, Oh,
man. So, something told me, I started to make an announcement, and there was just something inside of me that just said, hold off, don't do it. And then, I had to go out and do some work things, and Bradley sent me a text, and she said, hey, have you gotten anyone do you have a replacement for Matty tonight? And I was like, well, no, I was just going to cancel. And she said, well, how about I come on and we, spread some love and light. And and I was like, man, that would be like, how perfect is that Bradley's Free reaches out to me, and you guys are my favorite people. And I thought, what an amazing time to do a nice little, a nice tribute to Matty. And I thought, you know what, let's do something that would make Matty smile. And, we talked about it, having her on and doing that little skit for you. And then I get this call and this message from you that says, hey, and you told me that story. And I thought, man, how amazing is that? And that my own little brother, and I'm going to tell y'all why I call Matty my little brother, because his mom, Patty LeMay, who is such an amazing, beautiful woman, sends me these amazing cards. It's like God tells her when I need a pick-me-up, because she will, out of the blue or on holidays, she sends me cards. She always reaches out to me, and she has just really embraced me. And, I love this family. So I always call Matty my little brother from a different mother. But, and it just all worked out so perfect. And, we had a loss this week as well. And I was really thinking, how do we approach this? Because I think it's important, Matty, and I think you'll agree that people always in recovery don't get to see us. We make our perceptions about people. When we see them, sometimes it's easy for us to think, well, they don't have any problems, or they're not going through what I'm going through. And I think it's important that we show up in the middle of our mess sometimes, because the biggest and brightest messages can be in the midst of a mess. And I thank you for doing that tonight, man.
Definitely. And that's a huge motivator for me tonight being here, is that, I had that thought, and I told you, and I posted it on my page too, is if I don't go on tonight, it'll be totally understandable. But if I do go on tonight, it'll be totally inspirational.
Absolutely.
And that fits so many situations in my life and in anybody watching any of your lives. If you got something that you're thinking about doing that you're like, yeah, I got all these, reasons why I shouldn't do that or why I can't do that. Yeah. So if you got all them reasons to not do it, it'd be totally understandable if you didn't do it. But if you push through all those reasons and do it anyway, it'll be totally inspirational.
Absolutely, man, because fear likes to remind us of our old story. And the only way to create a new story is to move through that fear and jump over those hurdles of that old story. Hey, our guest host is back, and I think she shaved her beard and she's ready to come on as Bradley. Let's bring her on so we can tag team Matty Jablonski tonight with us.
Hello.
There she is.
Bagwell.
That was so much fun. Oh, I still say Matty J. Sorry, Matty.
You stole my name.
I stole everything. I'm going to steal Caitlin next. You watch.
Get out of here.
Oh, I pulled all that together in about 20 minutes, Matty.
I'm so happy that you did. When LC messaged me and wanted to run the idea past me first, because you wanted to make sure I wasn't disrespectful or anything, and I appreciate that as well. But as soon as I got that message, I was like, oh my God, now I'm on the edge of my seat. Now I can't wait to see Bradley's impression of me. This is going to be great.
Well, and I'm a little disappointed because I didn't have the day to get your wording and everything. I mean, I knew what the background, I already knew. As soon as she and I talked about it, I went and got the Zelda shirt and I got my stuff to make the sign. But I didn't have time to listen to the lives like I wanted to, so I could get some of your wording down. Don't worry, this isn't the last of it. We're gonna have some more fun with that.
All right, good. I haven't seen the last of the Matty Bradley.
Yes.
Yeah. Matty Bradley, Matty
I
B.
want to say that is awesome that you kind of played out what your grandfather might be thinking in heaven, and that he would want to see you live tonight and this morning. And I think you're amazing. You are amazing for stuff like that.
Yep. That's a strategy. That's how we think through strategies. And I think that it's so important in so many ways, Matty, that's the process you share, because we have to start doing that in recovery, because if we don't start playing those things out, which is in fact a strategy, then, we're going to get overwhelmed and go back to that old place that's comfortable. And, Matty, in your recovery, because this didn't start yesterday, you didn't wake up to be this, guy. When do you think, what were some of the key things in your early recovery that helped you get to this place of default strategy?
Well, I'll tell you the one of the biggest moments I remember having a realization that I'm more than one person, that because you are a body, soul, and a mind that make up who you are. And I think one of the first realizations of that was in jail in my first 97 days of recovery. And I could feel I had three different voices going on inside of me. I had this one voice that was going, I got to get out of here right now and go get high. I need to get high. I got to get high. And I realized that was my body. And then I had this second voice that was a little smarter. He was saying, I want to get out, but I want to stay clean. And that was my mind. And then I could hear my soul in the background saying, I don't want to go anywhere. We need to be right here. This is where we belong. We need more time behind these bars. You're not right. Neither are you two talking right now are right. We need to straighten some things out because y'all are having fun and I'm going to burn. That was the third voice that I could hear. And that was one of those realizations of wow, I really am a body, a soul, and a mind. And it was took feeling that tearing away to realize that I had those three parts of me. And then once I realized I had those three parts, it was easier to tune in to the soul voice, the voice that was telling me, when every time you did something bad and you heard that voice in the back of your head that said, don't do it, go home. And we would tell him to shut up and we'd go get more drugs. That little voice that's your soul. That's your conduit to God right there. And my journey through recovery has led me closer to God every day. And now I don't believe in coincidences anymore. And I believe like when God gives you an opportunity to you can even say, wow, that's a coincidence. But after you say it, you should probably realize that wasn't a coincidence, And like, I feel like this morning before going live, and having that thought before I left of, if I have the opportunity to stop around 10 a.m., I will, and I will still go live. And then 5 minutes before 10 a.m., I see a sign that says in 5 miles, there's a rest area. Those are one of those clear signs from God that you're just like, okay, that ain't no coincidence. That's God playing chess in my life and setting things up.
Awesome. That's so awesome, because it comes into that place of being purposeful, living purposeful, making that decision to get still and quiet and to start differentiating between those voices. Like, I always talked about, especially in the early days of video, is know who's talking to you. Is it the addict brain that's talking to me? Like, which person? And I had never broke it down that much, Matty, but that's like super, super, super clear. And it's intention oriented. It means starting with you. Bradley, I'm sure that, you've got to bound to have had, when was that moment, that point of change in your life, that moment of clarity when you realized that, you had outgrown your yesterday and you're ready to start into a new tomorrow? Because I think that's really what happens, is we outgrow that yesterday.
Yeah, I was in prison.
It's funny how that's the place we go to get clear, right?
God works there, man. He definitely works.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
But I really like that, what you described, Matty. You painted a good picture of kind of like for us to look at that. And I really do think you should write a book.
Yeah.
You have a way of wording things and explaining things.
I think that's part of your talent.
Yeah.
I think it's part of your talent. We learn and we think in pictures. And when you are able to describe something in that way, we have no choice but to picture it. And I think that's when you've got the 1, 2, 3 punch like that, I think that's probably a calling that's moving you towards that place.
It's a book is definitely in my future. I'm not putting a date on nothing, but I definitely have felt the longing to write something, and I felt the calling on it. So it's just getting the right time and the ambition to get it done,
Oh yeah. And then like, the stuff that you've been writing lately is awesome. So you could start each chapter with one of your poems or something.
Yes.
So badass, man. I'd buy it.
I would.
I'd buy it for other people. Be like,
I'm in.
check him
You
out.
got it. I'm in. I'm
I
in.
love the different trio we got going on here. LC, you're so professionally set up. I'm in my car on a terrible phone, and Bradley, you're just so chill down there in your PJs. All, what's up, guys?
Well, I wasn't getting back redressed after all that. Put makeup on.
No, I'm so happy to be here tonight, and I'm so happy that God made this time for us to get together. And LC, thank you for that song you sent to us right before we went live. I turned it on and I stepped outside the car here. I'm parked next to a pond I'm in my hometown right now, back where it all started. And
Wow.
like I stepped out here by the pond and watched the sunset and checked out the stars as that song played, and it had me in tears standing out here. And then I was like, all right, get it back together, get back in the car and get ready for the live video.
That's my fight song, man. That's my fight song. And I felt it. I felt it hard on my heart to send it to you guys as well, because that's a fight song that just brings me all in to remember that just it may look like I'm surrounded, but
Surrounded by
I'm
you.
surrounded by a higher power that is moving my life in different directions. And there's this, we know for sure, and I want to ask you a strategy about this, but I think it's going to be really helpful. We can't control the thoughts that come to us, but we do get to control the thoughts that we let rent space, and we do get to control the thoughts that we live in. And this is a perfect example in your life of a choice, of being able to make that choice. Is there a certain bit of strategy or any type of, how do you decide to what gets to stay and what has to go in your life, in your heart?
That's an awesome question, and I'm actually really happy you asked it, because that was part of my strategy on the way up here too. Is see, I heard this a while back, and I practice it as much as I can. That we talk about emotional control, being in control of your emotions, and it's so hard to get to that point where you can just literally be like, okay, I'm going to decide. Here's something that has happened in my life. I'm going to decide how I want to react to that. Am I going to feel angry about this, or am I going to let this, do this? But before you get to that state, it's important to have emotional awareness. That's the step before emotional control, is emotional awareness. Just being aware of your emotions in the time. And I had to have a moment on my way up here, because, and you were saying before about how important it is for us to be here through our struggle. And this is definitely a struggle for me today. On the way up here, I was having so many dark thoughts. My grandpa just passed away, and I was just caught up in my head, and I'm thinking about canceling my videos, about not going live at 10 a.m. and then not going live at 8 p.m. And then my thought kept running with that. And it was like, well, maybe I should just stop making videos. Maybe I should take a break. Maybe I should take a break off for, stop for a week and just get my head right and take some time off from the point of change. Maybe I should just go right now. I should go on there and unpublish the page and just take it down for now until I can make up my mind. I mean, my brain was going crazy, and I had to take a moment and just take a breath and just say, okay, and not say, okay, let's get this under control, but just say, okay, be aware of what's happening right now. Okay, where are these thoughts right now? Where is all this coming from? What is happening? Play this tape through to the end was the next step that came in. Once I was aware of, okay, you're being frantic right now. You're making emotionally based decisions right now. None of this needs to happen. You don't need to stop making videos. You need to just take a breath. And then I realized, okay, you're being frantic. You're being crazy. Okay, so let's play this through to the end. Where does this tape lead us if you do this? If you don't go live at 10 a.m. and then you don't go live tonight at 8 p.m. and then you don't go live tomorrow and you take a week off, what happens? And I'm like, okay, that bleeds farther into it. Then that makes a precedent in my brain. Okay, now I've told myself, okay, so when there's a death in my family, it's okay to take a week off from my page. So now anytime that someone dies, I'm going to be taking a week off from my page. And then it starts to lead into more. Okay, well then maybe it shouldn't just be family members. Maybe it should be friends too. When friends pass away, I got to take a week off. And now pretty soon I've made myself this whole list of things that I'm allowed to take a time away from my life if this happens. So when I played that tape through the end, I was like, okay, back it up, get back to where we are right now. Right now, it's still not even 10 a.m. You still haven't even missed your 10 a.m. video yet this morning. You still can call back up LC and still go live at 8 p.m. tonight. Let's not let this tape play through. Let's go live at 10. Let's go live with LC, and let's see what happens. Now that we know what happens if we let it go, let's see what happens if we kick its ass.
That's beautiful.
Right on. Hey, can
Man,
I say something?
That's great. Yeah.
So both of y'all going through some serious stuff, coming on here, you know, you can't also discount what you're doing for the others who are also going through hard things and they want to also withdraw from life. You know, this is from live, so it's kind of, but it's the same thing. Like we isolate, we do those kind of things, and you guys are showing, y'all are coming up, you're still showing up, you're still doing the thing. Recovery is still first. And that is huge. That is huge to show our family, our recovery people, that we can just keep pushing through these hard things. Not to say that it's okay, but we came on and cut up a little bit, and so that we could get, you know, get a little bit of peace and you know, get our spirit cleaned up a little bit, because we still, you know, we have to do that morning, or we have to, you know, handle that after. But it's okay to take a break. It's okay to get, like what Matty's saying, kind of like take a deep breath and go, okay, this is where I'm at. But, you know, free your mind from that for a second. And I think that's huge, because a lot of people are going through stuff right now, you know?
Yeah, I believe that. And that was so one of the reasons that I was really glad that Matty came on. And Matty, you don't even realize, you know, I was in that same space, you know, that I could take this weekend off. I could, you know, it'll be understandable. But, you know, I am with both of you on that. I don't always want people to have a perspective of me that recovery is something that you achieve and then you don't have to work on it anymore. And I have made it a valid, I've made a valiant effort this year, because this has been a very, very hard year. And I know it's been for everybody with COVID, but a lot of people in my audience know that this year alone, we've lost a home, and we've lost so much and all of that stability. And we have had to dig into our faith. We've lost, you know, my wife's lost 3 family members in a row. And we've been together working on 16 years. These are my family members as well. And there was something that Matty said today, and I'll get to it in a minute, but a part of me didn't want people to see that I was going through so much, because I didn't want to make them wobble. I felt like, what if I show up and make other people wobble? And somebody said, if people need to see that it's okay to be in the middle of your mess and keep going. And that really, you know, flipped it around for me and said, you know what, that's right. How much better is it to see somebody else going through something that I'm going through? And even if it's not exactly the same, the details, you're right. All those feelings come up, all that drastic, overwhelming, all this stuff where we used to, back in those days, we used to just react. Thought one, react. And now, like Matty, you were talking about becoming aware. I think awareness is the key that really breaks all of this healing open, because we can realize we can sit here and take these moments to be aware. We don't have to shut it all down and, you know, cover it all up, pretend it's not happening. And Matty said something today that was, you know, so beautiful to me. When he first sent me the message and he first called me, he first told me what was happening, you know, he said, I'm grateful today that I can be there for my family, that I can go and be there with my mom. And, you know, I remember feeling that way when my mom's husband passed. I remember thinking, wow, thank God that I'm in recovery and that everybody's not going to be worried about where I disappear to today, and that I can actually be here as a part of my family. And Matty, I think that's huge, because in the midst of tragedy, we can still find gratitude for where we are in this life process. That, you know, mourning the loss of someone doesn't mean the more miserable we are, the more we loved them. I think it's almost the opposite. The more we can move through things in such a healthy way, and be able to find the things that are healing for our own souls, is a great way to pay tribute to somebody and honor their memory. I mean, just an amazing way.
Yeah.
And
Amen. I had exactly that same thought, you know, and that was when I got the call this morning, or I got the message rather this morning, that my grandpa had passed away yesterday, and my first thought was, you know, I got to go see my mom. I gotta get up there, you know. And yeah, I went a little frantic and tried to cancel a bunch of stuff, but that was my main thought, was I got to go there and be there for my mom. Because, you know, when I lost my dad, my family was there for me right away, and that's what I would want for me, and that's what I would want for my mom. Didn't want to think that, you know, I don't want to look back on this in 5 years and say, oh yeah, I remember when my grandpa passed away, and you know, I had the day off. I could have went, but I didn't. I probably should have, though. I really wish I would have went and seen mom that day. You know, no, I don't want that to be my story in the past. I want it to be, you know, my grandpa passed away, and I jumped up the next morning and grabbed my keys, and I was out the door, and I was there by my mom. You know, and I mean, if this would have happened in my addiction, I either I wouldn't have been able to be there physically. You know, I would have been out gallivanting, getting high and screwing around, and I wouldn't have been available to go hang out with my mom. Or if I would have had the time and would have been able to be there physically, I wouldn't have been there mentally, because the whole time I would have been there wondering, okay, so when can I sneak outside and get high outside? Or, you know, when's mom going to give me a ride back to town? Or when's she not going to be looking so I can steal from her purse? Or, you know, whatever. I would have just been in my own head and not present and able to just sit there and watch her do, you know, she was just doing hobbies and stuff. We sat at the counter and talked about grandpa for a while, and she was doing her little hobbies, making her cards. You know, LC, you've seen her cards with the medallions.
Love her cards.
She was folding up medallions and showing me little tricks that she does with them and how she folds them and stuff. And, you know, and it was just beautiful to just be there and have dinner with them tonight. And then, you know, and I'm just very thankful that I am where I am in recovery, and that this happened. You know, I'm not thankful that this happened, but I'm thankful that I can be here for my family at moments like this. And that was a huge thought I had today, was, you know, what's the point in any of this if I can't be there today? You know, what's the point in having this car? What's the point in making money? What's the point in being in recovery and being clean if I can't get in my freaking car that I own and drive up north and be with my mom today, you know? So I went and I'm here.
I love it, Matty. I'm about, you know, in tears to be here with you guys tonight. You know, there's nothing else. There's no other people that I would want to share this stage with right here tonight and talk about this kind of stuff, you know, other than with the two of you in this kind of setting, and all the people that are here with us. I mean, you know, I think it's hugely important, you know, that we have this wherewithal and the awareness to begin to make intention choices in our lives. And I love that you're sharing your entire mental process, because sometimes in recovery, we think when that stuff starts coming that we're doing something wrong. I mean, I know I can't be the only one that has ever thought that. You're sitting there, you're going, wait, I'm not supposed to have all these thoughts. I'm not supposed to be doing all this. I thought I was at a different level. I thought I was in a different place. I mean,
shame.
What's happening? I'm failing.
Yeah.
And really, you're just humaning.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
I heard this great, what's it called whenever you make a word out of it? Shame stands for should have already mastered everything.
Oh, yes.
Because we do that. Like, I shouldn't be feeling this. I know better. I know what to do. But we're human, and you were feeling the feelings. That just goes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amen. That's, you know, and that was, I went through this kind of partially part of this process. Not real long ago, I was diagnosed with scoliosis. And I mean, for years, I've thought my back hurts. My back hurts pretty regularly. And I've always just kind of thought, my back hurts, you know, it's nothing big. It's no medical issue or nothing. It's just every once in a while my back hurts, and that's all right. And I finally went into a chiropractor, and they did x-rays, and my back is as crooked as a politician. It is. So after finding it out, when you go through, when you find out heavy news like that, any kind, I know that's not a death sentence, but it is, it's a medical diagnosis. And when you go through those things, there is a process to accepting it. You move through the same stages, kind of the stages of grief. You move through that, through denial, and then you go through the oh, woe is me stage before you finally move to acceptance. And I know that process. And I was hoping that I could avoid the process because I'm like, I know that, I know that I'm going to be in denial. I'm going to do this. But since I know the process, I'm going to move right to acceptance. I'm going to jump past all that. I'm not going to go through this. But sure enough, I find myself later that day sitting on the couch looking at, because she put a wedge in one of my shoes because my left leg is shorter than my right one. So now I have a wedge in my shoe. And I'm looking at my shoes and I'm going, I bet she was wrong. I bet my leg, it's the wrong leg. That's not the right leg. That probably wasn't even the right x-ray. She probably had somebody else's x-ray on thing. And all of a sudden I caught myself and I'm like, are you in denial right now, Mr. Jablonski? I'm like, no, I don't want to go through the stages.
I love that. I love that. Well, Matty, we can't have you here and not talk about love and Caitlin.
I gotta go. No, I'm just playing.
You sit right there. No, we really can't have you here and not talk about that because there are relationships in recovery can be tough, and you have graciously shared your recovery, and your recovery process, your relationship process, and so many processes with us. Let's talk about this love and how that affects recovery and how you continue to keep that recovery in the forefront and how you're maneuvering this new healthy relationship stuff that we like to do.
Yeah.
Ooh, awesome stuff. All right. Well, I'd like to say, they have the old rule of thumb in recovery is that you shouldn't be in a relationship in your first year. I think some people even tell you get a plant, and then if you can keep the plant alive, then you get a dog. If you keep the dog alive, then you can have a relationship. But I never really knew much about that, and I was in such a toxic relationship in my active addiction that when I came into recovery, I was already in the mindset that I didn't want to be with nobody. I was already like, nope, I'm not ready for nobody. I don't want to be with nobody. I'm going to stick to me. I got me. That's all I need. And I stuck that way for the first 3 years of my recovery there. And then, and I'm really happy that I did because, when I met Caitlin, we met at work, and we were friends at work for around a year before we actually started dating. And I'm really thankful we waited that whole year before we even started dating too. There was flirtation at work, but there was never we never even fooled around until we actually started dating. And I'm really happy that we waited that long. And I'm really happy that I waited that long in my recovery to get into a relationship, because when I got into a relationship, all of a sudden I opened a whole new box of traumas that I didn't even realize I had. Because here I'm like, 3 years into my recovery, I'm doing good. I'm a motivational speaker. I got it. I'm doing great. And I thought I had healed, on pretty much everything from my past. And, I've made so many big amends. I knew I wasn't 100%, but I thought I had made some pretty good grounds. And then all of a sudden I got with Caitlin, and all of a sudden these little traumas that I had from my old relationships started to dawn on me. Like all of a sudden, I guess a good way to put it would be, if you've always been in bad relationships, you don't know how bad you got it until you get into a good relationship. And all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh, wow, I didn't even realize how, because like Caitlin and me have this pure, open, honest relationship, and there's like zero toxicity between us. We don't have any lies. We don't have any secrets. We got together. Both of us were at a place in our lives where we didn't have like the ex that was like real toxic and right there on your shoulder. I didn't have to worry about some psycho boyfriend. She don't have to worry about some psycho ex-girlfriend. Like it was so kosher. But all of a sudden I started noticing things about myself for instance, like walking on eggshells in situations when I didn't need to be walking on eggshells. I would send her, waiting for her to come over, and I would message her, and I would I would freeze up to ask her when she was going to come over, because I would start to think, because in my toxic relationship, if I would have messaged my ex when I was with her, if I'd have messaged her and said, hey, what time are you going to be home? It was, why are you keeping tabs on me? You don't need to mind your own business. I'll be home when I get home, kind of thing. So then when now that I'm with Caitlin, I was still having those fears. I was still having that, I shouldn't message her because she's going to get mad if I message her, and I don't want to ask her. And then I'd end up putting myself in too much stress, because all I wanted to know was when you're going to be home, so I know if I can start dinner. That was the whole problem. The whole thing is, I don't know if I should start dinner or not. And then I don't ask because I'm worried that I'm going to make her mad. And then she gets home and I'm in a frantic mess because I'm like, oh God, I didn't have dinner even started yet, And there was just tiny things like that I realized I didn't work on. And I'm just really happy that I waited that long, because had I been in early recovery and facing all of the mind-blowing epiphanies that you're facing in early recovery of all the stuff that you've done, and if I had opened up that box too, it may have been enough to send me back out.
Absolutely, man. Great way to say that and way to put it, because it is overwhelming. I mean, Bradley, what are your thoughts on this? I mean,
Bradley, you're lonely.
Relationships are boot camp for bringing up your junk. I mean, they really are.
Chris Freeman said, I started with a pet rock, then a chia pet.
I love that.
I can't keep a plant alive. I probably can't. I'll kill a chia pet too. Listen to this though. This is how pitiful. The other day I clicked on one of those, game app, game things with your name and they whatever. And I don't remember what it was, but it was like one that would tell you good things about yourself, and then you could show the world how good you are. And so I clicked on it and it said, you will be forever alone. Okay, I won't shoot the finger, but I was shooting the finger at my phone. Okay. No, I think that I did try to get into a relationship when I first got to Dallas. I kind of tried that, and it did not work out for me. And then I tried again, and it didn't work. But what I'm learning is that I'm healthier. I'm in a healthier place that I can go, oh, that's not good for me. So I love hearing how you and Caitlin have that open and honest relationship. So you don't have to hide any part of you, for the rest of your life. That's what all of this stuff brings us to, is figuring out ourselves and self-awareness. And so I'm pretty happy actually not having someone right now, because I have a whole new life here. And so I'm trying to just rock that, but definitely, I have a whole different way of going into a relationship now because I love myself.
Amen to that.
Before,
that's beautiful.
Yeah. Before I would have just I became whatever they wanted me to become, because that's just the way I was, and very codependent, but now we learn to love ourselves through recovery, and that's where I'm at today. So there you go. That's
so great. And we all three represent different, ends of those spectrums, because Matty, you have gotten into a new relationship from a healthy place. Bradley, you are enjoying finding yourself and understanding, who you are and what you deserve and what you're worth. And we all know that as our vibe changes, it attracts a different tribe. And, so many times we try to keep vibing that same way and get in those same relationships. And, I, of course, am in a relationship I've been in with my wife for working on 16 years. And we are the ones that we used together. When we met, we were using, and then, have been through addiction and recovery together. So it's really the same thing. And as you learn to love yourself and you really start vibrating different, and you're expecting different things in your life, you do show up different, and all of that changes. And now for us, it's like a new relationship where we're having to heal those old traumas. And it's an amazing place to be. And I'm really happy for both of you that you're representing both of those spectrums, because relationships can be dangerous when we are still in the midst of our pain and trauma. When those things aren't healed, we can, and Matty, what you were talking about is how these relationships brought up some traumas you weren't still even aware of. That's where we get snagged up in relationships. And let's clarify, that's really the reason that they say don't get into a relationship in that early time, because it's too overwhelming when you're dealing with these, first traumas. And then you add that on it without even knowing, because of the codependence, because you can't be alone, because you want somebody to make you feel loved. And then all that other trauma's coming up and you're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And it's like we
don't have any clue who you really are.
Right. You have no idea.
Yeah.
I love my son, but, my son's in a relationship with someone who, is in early, what I would say has an issue with some things. And I was going to make a statement to him to say, you don't even really know her, son. And of course he went defensive. I do know her. And, I just kind of went, okay, but we know that. I mean, you don't really know somebody when they are in active addiction, because they're survival. They're in a survival mindset. Each and every one of us know that. And how do you relate to someone else in that survival mindset in any other way than survival? So, Matty, thanks for sharing that with us. I think it's very, very vital what you shared. You have such a great way of organizing your thoughts, organizing your recovery process in a way that makes it very, very, very easy. And for you to be stepping into the dream of becoming a motivational speaker, I believe that the world will know who you are very, very soon, because your way of sharing a message is priceless. I mean, you're not over throwing out and pronunciating words that people don't understand. You're talking to people from your heart. That is absolutely apparent in everything that you do. And I am grateful for you and to have seen all your growth, man. You don't know how that makes me feel. I feel like the proudest, like, I don't even know. It just makes me feel so proud. And the same for you, Bradley. I mean, just watching you come into your own and create and share what is so close to your hearts, man, there is nothing in the world that makes me more happy than to see people blossoming into who they are and who they were made to be.
Yeah.
Well, the same goes for you too, LC.
I'm coming right back.
Same goes with you watching your journey too, and it's just been awesome. And I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't tell the story of like that. I was in early recovery. My dad had just passed away. I just found God and looking for my passion and looking for my purpose in this world. And I searched on Facebook I was looking for more support, because my dad had just passed away. I lost a huge part of my support system, and I had this thought. Why not search on Facebook for addiction recovery support groups? So I typed that into the search bar, addiction recovery support group. And the first one that came up was the addiction recovery support group. And I was like, oh, wow, this is a sign. I gotta join this. So I joined that group, and there was all kinds of people in there doing live videos. And I happened to come across LC Currie, a video of you standing on a wooden dock. And you were just, good morning, recovery warriors. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's LC, your motivator here on this Monday morning here on the Hope and Recovery Network. And I was like, wow, this is getting me pumped up. This is pretty cool. That was the first recovery live video I had ever even watched. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. This is awesome. Wow. This is something that I could do, and I still hadn't started the Point of Change for a while after that, but eventually that was one of the seeds that was planted, and then into the future. And then I found you in the recovery crawl is where I actually eventually, cause I could totally forgot your name. And I was like, who was that woman that I seen on that dock? I can't remember. And then I'm coming up on the recovery crawl, and Bradley sent me the schedule, and I was looking through the names, and there was Lona Currie, and I was like, that's the name. Oh man, that's the first video I ever saw right there.
That's awesome. I have not heard that. That's really amazing. That's when I fell in love with you, LC, is those morning motivations, man. They pump me up.
Man, I appreciate that. And that was so special to me when Matty found me after the recovery crawl. I think it was that first one. And, you know, I was bent to do that recovery crawl too. I mean, I really was. I mean, I made some choices. I blindly chose that recovery crawl, and I'm so grateful every day that I did. Every time I see you, Matty, every time I talk to Bradley, it reminds me of this choice that I made out of a toxic situation and friendship, from a toxic path that looked like recovery. It was a toxic path, and it ended up being very toxic people under the guise of something else. And my heart just pulled me that way. And I said, you know, I don't know Bradley Bagwell, but I have had just enough. There was something about Bradley that let me see her heart. And I just felt like I know her heart. And there was kind of an ultimatum that came up to me from this toxic thing. And I thought, it's got to be toxic. If it's giving me an ultimatum, that's toxic. And I said, yep, I'm going to do this crawl. And here we three sit tonight, having all been a vital part of each other's lives. And I think that I mean, I fell completely in love with Matty when Matty told me that. And right after that is when Patty would send me her cards and really reached out too. And I thought, man, this is true people right here. Like this was a big sign to me of how to tell the difference between toxic people and moving with your heart. And there's not a time that I don't even see both of you or talk to both of you that I don't remember that time. And I'm so grateful that I listened to my heart for that.
And that was you know, that was you choosing that healthy path, because you're starting to love, we're all starting to love ourselves and gaining healthy relationships. And how exciting is that we get probably will know each other till the day we die, because we have formed such strong relationships.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love this whole.
So y'all are stuck with me. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying that y'all are stuck with me. I was thinking about that in my head. I'm thinking, y'all ain't getting rid of me. Like, I don't know what you're thinking, but it will happen. I will hang on like an infection. Y'all just don't know. Hang on like syphilis, okay? I don't go anywhere.
That's awesome.
I really, 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 really love you guys. And Matty, you just have no idea how awesome this has been, even though you are completely blacked out. We have not been able to see you, but before this thing started, and yet your point, your heart, your amazing advice and love has come through here like a shining beam of light. Man, I can't thank you enough for showing up in here and doing this tonight. You doing this helped me move through a lot of what I've been going through too. And I want to tell you just how grateful I am, how much I love you. You better throw those big old muscly arms around Patty LeMay for me and give her the hugest hug for me as well.
I definitely will.
Yeah,
she's touched so many lives here. So many lives. I mean, in the comments, they're lighting up about Patty. I mean, everybody loves Patty. And for any of you guys that have received one of those cards from Patty, you know, Matty said it right. She makes these cards. Each one is folded by her. I mean, everything comes from her. You get her heart, and it's just an amazing family. And
that's awesome.
Oh, I just love you guys so much. Like, I could just
made Matty too.
I know, right? I mean, what else? I mean,
bravo, Patty. You are
Patty's perfect.
You'd think she would have stopped there, right? You know, masterpiece button. Well, he's still out there creating wonders, I tell you. No, I'm really happy that I'm here tonight too. This helped me push through a lot. It really, and today it helped me get out of myself, which is always good, and reminded me that there's other people out there hurting. And of course, I got to remember that today is Black Balloon Day. So for those who have overdosed, today is March 6th, is Black Balloon Day. And that actually helped me a lot today too, remembering that, because as a recovery advocate, spreading awareness for overdose and awareness for addiction is part of my job. And and this morning I had a moment where I was like, it's Black Balloon Day, but I'm probably not going to post anything about that because I'm going to post stuff about my grandpa. And then I thought, yeah, but you're a recovery advocate. You got to be there for those people too. There's people out there that need that Black Balloon Day post, and that reminded me, that there's other people out there hurting too. I lost my grandpa today, but that's, I don't have to look very far to see somebody that was even more hurt. My mom lost her dad, so I mean, there's people out here who are pushing through harder pain than I'm pushing through. So I got to remember that too.
That's amazing, man. That's just amazing. That's what makes you a great recovery advocate. That's what makes you an amazing speaker. And thank you for executing, having a dream, and taking steps towards that dream. Every single day, for whoever's listening to this, whatever dream is in your heart, take daily steps towards it. Don't overwhelm yourself, and don't really worry about the how. You wouldn't be dreaming it if it was not for you. And, that I will say over and over and over again, you don't have a dream in your heart that is not a seed that has been planted there by your higher power, by your creator. That seed has been planted. And if you will just take small steps each day, don't worry about what you don't have. Don't worry that, you're not educated, or it's not, you've made too many mistakes, or, it's not feasible in your world. Even if it's looking up what that is, what it entails, move towards that each and every solitary day, because when we live with purpose, we get up and we push through things that otherwise would make us want to not post today. Otherwise, that would make us not want to keep doing these live videos. When we face that, and yet we feel purposed and we're moving towards that purpose helps me get up out of bed every single solitary day. And it doesn't matter what that purpose or dream is in your heart, whatever it is. If you can dream it, you can do it. You can be it. You can have it. Create a dream in your heart and your mind about your recovery. What do you want your recovery to look like? What do you want your body to look like? How do you want to think? How do you want to feel? Who do you want to be? What do you want your partner to be like? Make these dreams, spend time in that place. Because I'm going to tell you, I know that Matty and Bradley, they don't just haphazardly go through their life every day. They have a plan in their mind, and that plan helps bring them back to clarity. I do as well. And so keep that dream in your heart. Move towards it every single solitary day. Is there anything, Matty and Bradley, I'm going to put this to both of you, that you all would want to leave this audience with on that subject of having a dream and moving towards it?
Absolutely. There was a day, it wasn't that long ago. If you look back in my Google search back in 2018, there was a day I was literally typing in, how do you become a motivational speaker? And it brought up a list of what you have to do and prerequisites to get started. And I just started doing that list. And I remember seeing somebody posted that they had been working in the addiction and recovery field for over 10 years. And I remember thinking, you're never going to get to that 10 year unless you start right now, unless you get something going in 10 years, then you'll be that one posting that you've been working in addiction recovery work for 10 years, but you don't get there, but overnight. You don't get there, by sitting there thinking about it. You get there by actually starting something and actually doing it. And it only takes that 1 minute to change everything. Caitlin wrote on our marker board at home, you don't have to be great to get started. Or what is it? You don't have to be great to get started, but you got to get started to be great.
That's right.
That was beautiful. I absolutely love that. That's on our marker board at home right now. And it's so true. One day at a time, just start working, and then you'll figure it out. And like you said, LC, you don't have to overwhelm yourself. Baby steps still move you forward. You know, I take it really slow. I have anxiety, I have depression, I have ADHD. Yep. So I have a lot of things that, like, if things start coming too fast, I get overwhelmed. Yep. And I've had people reach out to me and tell me, you know, hey man, you need to get more on the marketing. You got to get more on this. You got to do more on that. And I tell them, whoa, back off, man. If God wants my page to grow, he'll make it grow. I ain't going to overwhelm myself by getting into all that algorithm crap and getting into, you know, all that other stuff. Yep. I just want to do something and I want it to grow, you know, and it'll grow there, you know, it'll get there in its time. And I just don't overwhelm myself. I take it one day at a time. That's how you get here.
Boom.
Yes. Bradley.
Oh, well, all I thought of when you were talking about that is how much do my teeth look like that lady on my vision board? I just like, when I took that picture and I was smiling so big and it looked like the lady on my vision board that I've been looking at. And I've been like running my tongue across my gums. Like, I'm going to have those teeth, lady. And
that's so awesome.
And it happened. So you got to believe in something.
You do.
And I did. Yeah. And there you go.
You do. I mean,
that's just one example. There's so many things that, you know, working that little bit at a time, and then if you keep a journal, or for some people it's just Facebook memories and things like that. So that's pretty much how I roll. But it's amazing how far we've come, but we don't look at it because we don't see it as it's happening. But when you can look at a whole year's worth of change, it's absolutely incredible. So just believe in yourselves and believe in something and keep on going.
So good. Absolutely. You know, it's your belief has made it so. Your belief has made you whole. Your belief is what heals you. You know, we have to have that belief. And, you know, I'm in the process right now of writing the Recovery Soul Foods Recovery Battle Plan. And that's where it is. You know, we have to have a spark of hope, and that little spark of hope leads down into a process of gratitude. And as we get deeper in that process of gratitude, that's when we start realizing that we do have that boiling up of that dream in the pit of our soul, that still small voice talking to us and saying, I've got something else for you. And, you know, we have to start believing in the fact that we are worth achieving our dreams. That old story is what keeps us going back on those loops of addiction, those loops of I'm not worthy, those loops of, see, I can't do it. And as we think, that is what we see. And if you want to have something you've never had, you got to be ready to do something you've never done. And every step that you take in that new direction feels crazy, but it creates a new way that your brain works. And I'm so grateful to see both of you, because I have gotten the opportunity to watch you guys grow. And, you know, you're just killing this thing. And I'm so grateful to know both of you. Thank you guys so much for being here with me and sharing yourselves, your love, your light, and your humor and everything with us. I want everybody to stick around. I've got a real short, our outro tonight is going to be, you know, is going to be special in honor of our fellas that we are dedicating this entire broadcast to. And that's Matty's grandfather, Lloyd Darling, and my dear brother-in-law, Timothy Gregson, who was just had a heart bigger than anyone I've ever seen, and was actually in the recovery process himself. And he was in that space of getting himself to that place of being healthier and in a better space. I think anytime something like this happens, we can take time to be grateful for what the lesson is of it. And if nothing else, loss gives us an opportunity to make sure the people in our lives right now know how much we love them, and that we don't miss a single day. When you feel led to pick up the phone, send a text message, a Facebook message, or something to somebody that's on your mind, just do it. You never, ever, ever know what's on the other end of that. And just be obedient. And when you feel it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go out. with this little video that we made. Everybody, you know where to find Matty Jablonski at the Point of Change. Matty Jablonski on Facebook. You have a YouTube too, don't you, Matty?
Yeah, just search on YouTube for The Point of Change and you can find it. The link is pretty crazy, but
I know, right? I know. Awesome, awesome. And you can catch Bradley Bagwell on the new page, Laughter is My DOC. That thing is growing quick and I love it. Also, you can always find Bradley there on the Recovery Crawl. And you know what? I love you both so much. And I can't wait to have y'all back. I think we should start making this a little more of a regular thing. I can't think of 2 other people I'd rather spend time with.
I'd love to. That sounds
All
I'd love
right.
to too. That'd be wonderful.
Y'all hang out, and here we go. Hey guys, catch me Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Recovery Soul Food YouTube, Recovery Soul Food Facebook, and Lona Currie at Facebook.com. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at recovery_soul food. I'll see you guys next time. I love you so much. Have an amazing rest of your weekend. Bye, guys.
Love you.